Okay, I've put my first slideshow together on how do you get scared. I guess I wanted to make this because I know that some people can get scared, and I know that there's a lot of people, probably 99% of the world, that doesn't get scared, and only a meager 1% that does get scared. But I guess I just want to touch on the topic and the knowledge of what I know that probably only 1% of the world doesn't know. But I'm going to go for it anyway. So, how do you get scared? Well, I wanted to start on the causes for fear. 1. Knowledge of things that can make a person scared, like there's a thief in the neighborhood, or there is a kidnapping occurring, or there's, I don't know, there's just different things that can make a person paranoid. And then there's also the lack of knowledge in things that you don't know of a certain, I mean, the less you know, the more scared you are, right? And then there's obviously mass media, which is the one thing I wanted to touch on, and the other two I just threw in there because if I say how do you get scared, it kind of brings up those two other ones and not just the media part. So to quickly touch on the two other ones in regards to knowledge, which causes fear, you don't want to be careless, but yet you don't want to be paranoid either. So the best thing to do for that, and it's the obvious answer, but I'm going to say it anyway, is to study and to look into to do a little more studying and not just listen to what people say, but do a little more investigation and look into things, and that also helps for the other one, which is lack of knowledge. You get more knowledge, so that knocks that out. And if you're religious, reading the Bible, obviously for protection and for guidance, definitely would not hurt either. Now, I have to ask you a few questions in regards to the other one. Do you ever look down a dark alley, and if you're walking, this is all by yourself. When you're with other people, it's totally different. When you're by yourself, there's not that many people, but I do know that there has to be a few out there that if you're walking down a dark alley by yourself, you can get a little scared. Or maybe being at home by yourself, in an area, by yourself in the house, complete silence. I'm not talking about it's one of those things that after you watch a scary movie and you're in your house and there's nobody else there with you, it can get, I don't know, you have TV turned off, and I don't know, it can just seem a little on the freakish side. But then people are like saying, well, that's stupid because nobody does that. But then, have you ever looked out the back of your house during, like, at night, and ever thought that thing that happened in Scream, where the girl was hanging from the tree and you just look outside in the back in the dark and you think, could there be anyone out there? Well, that's why I'm doing this. Okay. Now, I mainly want to talk about mass media, but obviously what media am I talking about? Well, there's three obvious types of media that I am talking about. One is books and comics. Obviously, comic book guy and the guy from the Page Master. And this is one area which is kind of small, but can have some form of impact. And the biggest form of impact is movies and television, which that's pretty much where it comes from. Or originated from, and then video games, where it didn't originate from, but it got it because of the new curve of new technologies. We now have scaredness in video games, and this is really unscripted, so please do not criticize me for my unscriptedness. Okay, now, books and comics. Obviously, Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror. These were pretty much all in the same era of comic books that I'm talking about, and they all pretty much relate to EC Comics. And this is a definite place where fear can generate, especially among this book. I have known a lot of people to talk about this book, and that used to scare the crap out of them as kids, And personally, I read some of these stories and see some of the drawings done by the guy that Stephen Gamble. It still scares the crap out of me. But basically, those good old scary folk tales. That is where that can generate from. I'm just talking about the places where it can generate from, just so you know that we're on the same level, and I'm not just, so you can see that I know what it is I'm talking about. I'm not just some super Christian thinking that I'm saying stuff. I've been there, I've done it before, and I want to show you that I've done it. I want to show you that too. So, Nightmare on Elm Street. The obvious movies: Nightmare on Elm Street, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side. Done it all before. Friday the 13th, Halloween, the Leprechaun Child's Play series, and the one slide that you can't see, which is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Trust me, I've done it there. I've been there, done it all before. I know what I'm talking about with this stuff. And so yes, we're both. I just want to make sure we're both on the same page. We're a definite, and like Crank, Saw, all those movies, and I mean there's all these types of places where this media is found. Video games, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, basically the entire survival horror game genre, and that type of stuff. Okay,